Welcome to Extreme Connect. I am excited. We are here with two incredible customers of Extremes, led by Fidel Chavez from Kern County, California. And we also have Phil Priewe from Nevada Department of Transportation. I'm really excited that they're able to take the time today at Extreme Connect and share with you their stories and how they've been leveraging our technology within their organizations. And joined to me today to help host is my coworker, Stephanie Zmroczek. Stephanie?
Hi, I am the regional director for Extreme Networks for the SLED region. Thank you for joining us, Phil and Fidel.
Sure.
Thank you for having us.
So kind of want to peel this back a little bit. Longtime Extreme customers using one of my favorite technologies, Fabric, and talking about our infinite enterprise as we're going into the next cycles of technology, and we're looking at upgrades and different things in your world. Phil, can you tell me a little bit about what's going on at Nevada DOT?
Well, we're a long-time customer. We started with Baystack, Nortel, then it was bought by Avaya, and then Avaya was bought by Extreme. So we've used the products for a very long time. Fabric came out in 2014, and they were the host for Interop that year. And it really showed the power of Fabric and the SPB, because right there, Interop used to take an army of network engineers to put on Interop at Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They literally had 4 guys and they were up and running.
Wow.
That's how powerful the Fabric was. So we became a believer really, really fast from that Interop. And we were already gearing to try and get there, because the back end piece for multicast and cameras was huge. There was an unlimited, they didn't even know how many cameras and devices it could handle at the time.
Wow.
And so the transformation from PIM sparse mode traditional, where you had limits on the amount of devices that you could have, were huge. And that really helped spur the department for their Internet of Things and their camera deployments statewide.
That is fantastic. Fidel, Kern County, you guys have been SPB, Fabric, and now moving to the Infinite Enterprise. Tell me about where you guys started and where you are now.
Very similar journey to what Phillip mentioned. Long existing customers starting Baystack, Nortel, Avaya, now Extreme. We started to get adoption into Fabric probably about 7-8 years ago when it was released. So we were at a cross juncture when Nortel filed for bankruptcy. We had a need for additional core equipment. So we said, okay, what do we want this next iteration of our core to look like? So, obviously we tested multiple products at the same time. Nortel's engineering was being transitioned over to Avaya. So they were holding in Southern California training sessions for all of their engineers in Fabric and SPB. So they told us, hey, you guys are in a transition. Why don't you come over, take a look at what it is that our next iteration of technology is going to look like. That way you guys can make an educated decision about which route you want to go. Full circle, we were one of the first early adopters in the public sector in California for SPB. So what that has allowed us to do is to simplify our network tremendously.
Absolutely. And when you have a small team, it's a wonderful product for a small team to be able to support an entire state, in my case.
Yeah. Phil, when you say small team, if you don't mind, you know, how many people are on your team and how many, let's say, sites do you guys support?
I'm well over 100 nodes, and that covers the entire state of Nevada. So Nevada has we have to keep the roads going for the entire state. That's how people get to work. And so literally about every 60 miles, NDOT, 60 to 100 miles, NDOT has a maintenance station or a campus. And so that's a pretty big area. We're a pretty big state, and we're only looking at 5 guys running the whole show.
Wow. Wow. So adds, moves, and changes. You've got to be quite efficient when you guys do those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
Fidel, how many is on your staff?
So that is an interesting question from the perspective that in Kern County, we're 2 months into our journey where we have centralized all of what we consider wall jack back services, which basically is compute, storage, and networking. So we have acquired new talent to assist us in the networking realm of things, still within Kern County. So with those newly acquired talents, we're probably looking at around 7 to support the whole county. So we cover around 8,100 square miles. We're the 3rd largest county in California. So we're spread out wing to wing, about 2.5 hours apart from our central location.
Fidel, weren't you guys in silos and now you're bringing them all under your team and your purview? There's been a journey migrating that as well, correct?
That is correct. So part of the journey is we have around 4 different technology vendors in the networking realm. Part of that, part of our goal is to rationalize some of that into a unified product portfolio.
That's great. It's great to make, you know, assuming to make it easier, right, for adds, moves, and changes, and from a training perspective too, for your personnel, I would think.
Absolutely. Again, the key is it allows us to simplify our backbone, because at this point we're just mapping services and then we provision them at the end and off we go.
And from a security perspective, when you think about not having to have a full-time security network administrator, what Fabric brings to your enterprise as well.
Absolutely. The most important, visibility into network from wing to wing. Whereas prior to the consolidation, we only had visibility into 40% of our network. Now we have visibility from wing to wing.
Incredible. Incredible. Phil, with what you guys are doing at Nevada DOT, with all of those cameras that you support in that massive state, what were your challenges in the early days? I mean, from an adds, moves, and changes perspective and supporting SPB, what did you find that made your lives easier?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the enterprise gear is rock solid, and you deploy it, and you never go back there for years until your next refresh.
Yeah.
So now we're in the process of upgrading everything to purple, and I'm taking pieces of gear offline that have been online for 7 years.
Workhorses.
Yeah, just total workhorses out in the field. And so that's how you can get away with a small staff and just slowly rotate and chunk your way through the state.
Yeah.
I think the greatest thing about the Fabric was that you can build these secured dark networks exactly as touted by the founders of in Avaya at that time that came up with SPB. and how simple it was based on ISIS that those dark networks can be as big or as small as you need them.
Yep.
And then interconnect those to your how you're going to lay out your security and defense in depth at that point.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. As we talk about it here at Extreme Connect, we're talking about infinite enterprise and distributed connectivity, very much what you're all dealing with around so many square miles, and how you're dealing it with after COVID here, as we're trying, as we're all trying to get back to work. How are you dealing with that, the distribution and connectivity around the challenges with COVID, as you're moving forward?
Oh, I think COVID, well, obviously COVID pushed everyone out to their house. So a lot of your edge stuff wasn't probably even being used because no one was in the office. And so it's putting, I can see them coming back. A lot of it's gonna put a lot more emphasis on Wi-Fi and the extreme management pieces that actually control the fabric, and integrating your wired and your wireless simultaneously. And Extreme's done a really good job at gobbling up different vendors and getting that one pane of glass that they showed us they were going to do 4 years ago, and it's starting to happen.
Yeah. We like to think we're moving at cloud speed. So we definitely
It's getting there.
definitely seeing it.
It's getting there. It's a powerful tool, that's for sure, and the options just keep growing.
Fidel, being a state and local entity, what is the talk and buzz around cloud? Have you guys had any discussions in your 2-month journey and where you guys think you might go with cloud? Or is there an initiative on the table from the city council or anybody?
There is, right? And it kind of goes hand by hand with the whole pandemic. What it did for us, it accelerated the adoption of technology for us. Case in point, when we had to stage our alternative care site / vaccination site, we leverage Fabric to extend services all the way to these locations where these services were being provided. In regard to cloud, during the pandemic, remote workforce had to have the need to still stay connected while working from home. So your typical collaboration platform, access to files and things of that sort, accelerated some adoption of cloud. Now that's our roadmap that we're starting to take a look at. How do we leverage the cloud more than what we currently are doing?
That's interesting. The pandemic definitely drove a lot of cloud activity. And also too, with the pandemic, the hackers didn't get sick, they got busy. And the security that the Infinite Enterprise brings to our customers was very important and key during that time. David, I was going to ask the question from Phil and Fidel. Have you guys looked at our XIQ? Have you seen any demos on the new Extreme Cloud?
We have, and that'll be a transition that eventually happens. We've already worked it out with our SC on the licensing transformation of how that works from your original on-prem to either go into a hybrid or actually a slow marriage into the XIQ. And so I see us eventually making it there.
Well, I think the flexibility of going from on-prem to a hybrid to a cloud at your speed is one of the things that we bring to the table that's so important. Fidel, when we were talking a couple of weeks ago during your executive briefing, we talked about that. How important is the single pane of glass, because you are using the XMC and NAC and analytics, correct?
That is correct. So single pane of glass it's it's a critical component nowadays, now that we've consolidated all of these functions of networking into a single department. So having a visibility from wing to wing is just very important to us. In regard to XIQ, that is something that we're starting to explore, and we'll be having conversations with our account management team to do more of a proof of concept of it and see what is that going to look like.
Fantastic. Have you run into any scenarios where you needed to extend the fabric across to internet connections for your Internet of Things? Are you experiencing any needs for that? That goes out to both of you.
Oh, I can't wait. And to get my hands on some of the gear and get it labbed up, because extending IPsec and extending the fabric and getting rid of your traditional firewalls for VPN connectivity is exciting, and simplifies your network once again. And then also you can extend those NAC properties all the way out to the edge of need.
The control and visibility that's going to give you is going to be massive. I'm very excited about it. Fidel, how about for you guys?
From our perspective, there's definitely a need, and that's going to be a critical component when we go through the proof of concept to see along the same lines as Phil, how can we leverage that and at the same time have the capability of reducing our VPN connection footprint and leveraging XIQ for that.
It was definitely a shift that COVID changed our way of thinking, for sure.
Yeah, it sure did. It sure did. And a lot of, the three things that we talk about, simplifying things, right? From a management perspective, also from a licensing perspective that we talked about, making it flexible, right? As we go from on-prem to hybrid to the cloud in the future, and the security that our fabric technology is inherent to, and that you're all used to. So, we're excited to see where, the progress of all three of these, simplification, flexibility, and security, and we're continue to keep building this into our technology around our infinite campus. Steph, any other questions to Phil and Fidel today that we have for them?
I don't think so. I think we kind of covered what we were going for, and I'm so excited to have you guys as part of Connect. This is a big deal for us. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Phil, Fidel, thank you so much. Couldn't agree more with Steph. Thank you for taking the time. Pleased to have you to be part of Extreme Connect here. And hopefully next year maybe we'll be back in person. But appreciate you attending virtually with us in participation.
I'm looking forward to it. See you.
Likewise. Thank you.
Thank you.